The summer transfer window is far from over, and football clubs still have a lot of work to do. While some clubs are already done with the transfers, the bigger part of them are yet to get down to business. Some teams are about to go for really big signings, and only time will tell if they're going to make it. Today we would like to tell you about the most anticipated transfers of this summer. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you won't miss our next videos. But first, we would like to ask you this: which one of these players was signed for the biggest fee last summer? Casemiro, De Ligt, Isak, Haaland? Please leave your answers in the comments and get ready for watching. Khéphren Thuram, Liverpool. Jurgen Klopp now has his eyes set on rebuilding Liverpool's midfield. Three midfielders, James Milner, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain and Naby Keita, have already left the club as free agents, while the Scousers have signed Alexis McAllister from Brighton. However, they are not going to stop there, and their current transfer goal is Khéphren Thuram from Nice, the 22-year-old Frenchman who has already played 4 seasons for his club. His recent improvement is what made Liverpool and many other big clubs follow him closely, as they could do with a technically gifted world-class midfielder. Thuram's stats are 9 big chances created and 1.5 tackles per game in League One, and Jurgen Klopp, who knows well what kind of player he needs, is particularly interested in bringing the Frenchman to Anfield, and not without reason. Thuram has 2 years left on his contract, so the Nice board are open to negotiations, as they would like to get from 40 to 60 million euros for the midfielder. Liverpool have already contacted the French club, but the sides are still miles away from reaching an agreement. We're yet to see if it goes well for Liverpool, as the player is reported to have another option that is none other than PSG. André Onana, Manchester United. Signing a new goalkeeper is going to be Manchester United's #1 priority. No matter if David De Gea leaves or stays, Erik ten Hag is determined to bring in a keeper with better footwork. De Gea's poor passing has been particularly disappointing, as it damages the team's build-up and makes them too vulnerable to pressing. What is more, Ten Hag seems to be fed up with David's mistakes, so even if the Spaniard stays, he's going to settle for a backup keeper role. The one Ten Hag would like to sign the most is André Onana from Inter. The Dutchman already knows what kind of a player Onana is, as the Cameroonian played for Ajax under his management back in the days, so their reunion looks pretty possible. André's debut season at Inter was a pretty impressive one. The Nerazzurri won Coppa d'Italia and reached the Champions League final, while the goalkeeper earned himself the Golden Glove. André Onana does look a perfect player for Ten Hag, reliable in goal and solid with his footwork, and his Serie A stats serve as proof of his quality. A save percentage of 72, 5 prevented goals and a passing percentage of 94 in his team's box. Many reliable sources claim that Inter may let Onana go this summer after only 1 season at the club. However, their demands are going to be no less than 50 million euros, which seems too much for the Red Devils. At the same time, Chelsea are following the Cameroonian as well, but just like United, they are unwilling to pay the required fee, as both teams now hope there is room for negotiation. Martin Zubimendi, Barcelona. This summer, Sergio Busquets, one of the key players for the Blaugrana, left as a free agent after 15 years at the club, even though the head coach Xavi Hernandez tried his best to persuade the midfielder to stay. Now when Sergio left Barca and joined Inter Miami, the Blaugrana have to look for his replacement, and their #1 option is going to be the Real Sociedad midfielder Martin Zubimendi. His La Liga stats are 86% passing accuracy, 5 big chances created and 1.6 tackles per game, so the Sociedad midfielder and Busquets do have a lot in common. But there are going to be problems that may prevent Barcelona from signing Zubimendi. The first problem is the buyout clause of 60 million euros. Real Sociedad have no intention of negotiating on Zubimendi's price, which makes the task much harder for the crisis-stricken Blaugrana. What is more, Martin is not that eager to join Barcelona, despite all the club's prestige and the salary they can offer. It seems like Zubimendi is a rare example of a loyal footballer, but the situation may still change in the future. In case Barca comes with a 60 million bid, Real Sociedad will most likely sell the player. Calvin Phillips, Bayern. The Englishman's first season at Manchester City didn't really go as planned. After Calvin was signed from Leeds for 49 million euros, he suffered a long-term injury and then found it too hard to regain his form and compete with Rodri, a first-choice midfielder and an integral part of the team. As a result, the Englishman had to wait until the final games of the season, when City had already secured the title, to make his first team debut in a league game. As it is rumored, the citizens are extremely disappointed with the newcomer and already consider his signing a mistake. So now Manchester City would like to sell Calvin, who in turn would rather stay at the club and prove himself to be worth the money paid. But despite his desire to stay, City will most likely get rid of the player in case of a more or less lucrative offer. As for the clubs interested, Bayern Munich are looking for a new defensive midfielder, and Calvin Phillips is reported to be one of their options. Though Thomas Tuchel would rather sign the West Ham midfield leader and captain Declan Rice, the Irons' hefty demands may make Bayern turn to City and go for Phillips instead. His lack of playing time last season pretty much makes all the stats useless, so let's turn to Calvin's numbers in his last season for Leeds United. That is 2.7 tackles per game and a passing accuracy of 82. Joško Gvardiol, Manchester City. After their massive triumph, Man City, the treble winners, have no intention of resting on their laurels, as they would rather make signings to be even stronger in the upcoming season. The citizens have already signed Mateo Kovacic from Chelsea, but it looks like more will come. Joško Gvardiol, the RB Leipzig defender, may become the next player to join City. The Croatian has only spent 2 years in Germany, but he has been among the big club scouts' priorities since his Dinamo Zagreb years. Last summer, Chelsea tried to sign Gvardiol, but Leipzig rejected their 90 million offer. Now, after Joško won the World Cup bronze with Croatia, the German side may ask for even more. As Gvardiol admitted, he has always dreamed of playing in the Premier League, but not for Man City. The Croatian has been a Liverpool fan since he was a kid. However, the Scousers aren't ready to make an offer right now, while City's pulling power may bring the Croatian to the Etihad. It is believed that RB Leipzig will ask for 100 million euros, as they want Gvardiol to become the most expensive centre-back in the history of football. Manchester City would rather negotiate on the price, but they might as well pay the required sum in the end. After all, Josep Guardiola is a big fan of the young defender, whose versatility allows him to be solid both in defense and on the ball. As for his stats, there were 2.3 clearances per game and a passing accuracy of 89%. Bernardo Silva, PSG. After the Parisians lost Lionel Messi, who left for Inter Miami as a free agent, Luis Campos, the sporting director, has already found his potential replacement. PSG are now determined to sign Bernardo Silva from Man City, whose skill set resembles that of the modern-day Messi. Just like Leo, the Portuguese is able to play on the right and as number 10. Of course, his goal-scoring skills are no match for Messi, but we must admit that Leo hasn't been that much of a scorer either in recent years, compared to his Barcelona years. Anyway, Silva looks ready to change clubs, just like he was ready to leave City last summer, but no club was willing to match the citizens' demands at that time. Signing Silva this summer will cost PSG around 60-70 million euros. It's not like it's going to be a problem for such a club, but still the Parisians would rather take their time. Though Barcelona are interested in signing Silva as well, they are very unlikely to make a move due to their financial problems. As for Bernardo, it was rumored that he would rather join Barca, but it seems like he will have to settle for another option. However, he is no stranger to Ligue 1, as Silva used to play for Monaco until 2017, when he was signed by City for 50 million euros. Last season, Bernardo scored 4 goals and made 5 assists in the Premier League, while making 1 key pass per game. Moises Caicedo, Chelsea. This summer, the Blues would like to sign a defensive midfielder to play alongside Enzo Fernandez, the biggest signing in the Premier League history. The new manager, Mauricio Pochettino, has his eyes set on the Brighton midfielder Moises Caicedo, just like his predecessor Graham Potter. It is reported that Chelsea and Caicedo have already agreed on the terms of the player's contract, but the negotiations with Brighton are going to be long and hard. A number of reliable sources claim that the Seagulls' demands are going to be around 80 to 90 million euros, while Chelsea have already refused to pay the required fee. Chelsea are planning to approach Brighton as soon as they are done with selling their players, as there are other clubs such as Arsenal and Manchester United that are also willing to sign Caicedo, though just like Chelsea, they aren't ready to match Brighton's demands. As for the player, he has already expressed his desire to join the Blues, as he is impressed with Mauricio Pochettino's vision of the project. The manager is going to grant Moses creative freedom, which may help him unleash his true potential. At the same time, Caicedo's defensive performance may also become an integral part of the rebuilt Chelsea, as the midfielder was making 2.7 tackles and 1.5 interceptions per game last season. As for now, we can only sit and wait for the Blues to finally come to an agreement with Brighton. By the way, we have another video featuring Caicedo, the video about the players who have grown in price the most, so feel free to check it out once you're done with this one. Declan Rice, Arsenal, Manchester City. The West Ham captain's contract is expiring next summer, but the Irons' demands are still a problem even for the biggest clubs. Arsenal and Manchester City are the two clubs determined to sign Rice this summer. After the player's decision to stay in the Premier League and West Ham's demands made Bayern drop the idea of signing the Englishman. The Gunners are now considered strong favourites, as Arteta has already persuaded the player to join Arsenal. As rumours say, Declan Rice is excited about moving to Arsenal, as he also admires Arteta, who has promised him a key player role in his team. On the other hand, the Gunners are not ready to pay the required sum of 117 million euros, while West Ham in turn keep rejecting all the smaller bids. Not that long ago, Manchester City came for the player. Their first bid got rejected, but it is pretty possible that they will come back with a more lucrative one anytime soon, which might become quite a test for Declan Rice. Even if the teams agree on all the terms, City are yet to persuade the player to join them after he had already made a promise to Arteta. It looks like Rice is going to change clubs anyway, though we're yet to know about his choice. Whatever club he joins, he's going to bring immense quality to his midfield. 2.1 tackles and 1.7 interceptions per game, a passing accuracy of 88% and 58% of challenges won. These are world-class numbers that make Rice one of the best holding midfielders in the league. Harry Kane, Bayern, Manchester United. Last season, the Englishman managed to repeat his goal tally of 30 after he had scored 30 Premier League goals in the 17-18 season. Now, when there's only 1 year left on Harry Kane's contract, his future is far from certain. The Tottenham president Daniel Levy wants as much as 180 million euros for Harry from Premier League clubs and 100 million from foreign teams. Manchester United are believed to be extremely interested in signing the Spurs striker, as Erik ten Hag sees him as a perfect number 9 for his team. However, the United board are not willing to match Tottenham's demands of 120 million for obvious reasons. Apart from the English clubs, there was interest from Real Madrid, but Los Blancos are now going to pursue another signing, which we'll talk about a bit later. As for Bayern, they still have hopes of bringing the Englishman to Allianz Arena, though Kane used to be reluctant to leave the Premier League, as his dream was to break Alan Shearer's goal-scoring record. Bayern have successfully persuaded the player to take on a new challenge. The German side have already made a 70 million offer, while the Spurs want no less than 100 million for their attacking leader. Let's see if Bayern decide to break their transfer record in order to get him. Victor Osimhen, PSG. Last summer, Victor Osimhen became the best Serie A goalscorer with 26 goals to his name, while his side won the Scudetto for the first time since 1990. The Nigerian's impressive performance made many big clubs put an eye on him throughout the season, while the Napoli president Aurelio De Laurentiis made it clear he is not selling the player unless a big offer is made. Napoli had to break their transfer record to sign Osimhen, as he cost them 75 million euros. So now they want as much as 150 million. If some club still signs him despite Napoli's mind-blowing demands, it will make Victor Osimhen the third most valuable player in the history of football after Neymar and Mbappe. As for Mbappe, he may soon leave PSG, and that is why the Parisians are already looking for his replacement. Victor Osimhen has some Ligue 1 experience under his belt as he played for Lille, so it would be natural for PSG to go for the Nigerian. There is also interest from Chelsea and Manchester United. Spending 150 million on a player is not something they can easily afford. As for PSG, they are yet to sell the players, so money is not going that much of a problem. Kylian Mbappé, Real Madrid. The Frenchman could have joined Real Madrid as a free agent last summer, but changed his mind at the last moment and signed a new contract with PSG, which made him the highest paid footballer in the world at that time. The new contract was supposed to last until 2025, but it has turned out it is to expire a year earlier. Kylian is reported to be unhappy with his time at PSG. In fact, the best ever goalscorer for the Parisians regretted his decisions weeks after he signed the contract. Before the season even started, Mbappé told the PSG board that he wasn't going to extend his contract and expressed his discontent with the club's transfer policy. In addition to that, PSG had to settle for a Ligue 1 title as they got relegated from the Champions League in the round of 16 yet again. This summer, Mbappé wrote a letter to the board as he once again expressed his desire not to sign a new contract with PSG. The club's reaction didn't take long. The Parisians were fed up with Kylian's behavior, so the player was transfer listed, so that he doesn't leave the club as a free agent in a year. As you would expect, at once there came rumors about Real Madrid's interest. After all, Los Blancos are now in need of a new striker to replace Karim Benzema. Real Madrid are yet to approach PSG, but it looks only a matter of time at this point. The Parisians would like to gain 180 to 200 million euros for Kylian, which is obviously an unrealistic sum. At the same time, they know they will lose Mbappé as a free agent next summer if they don't sell him now. However, if PSG sell him now, they will most likely have to spend a season with Joselu as a first-choice striker. Last season ended with 36 goals from Mbappé, which means 0.9 goals per game, and that was not an isolated case. So all things considered, the Frenchman's move to Madrid does look possible. The question is, how much is his signing going to cost? It's always an opportunity to renew the squad and take the team to a next level with the help of bringing in the right players. Summer is when scouts have to work extremely hard in order to help the club achieve its goals. So let's see what club is going to make the biggest signings in the remaining weeks of this transfer window. Dear friends, please let us know in the comments which one of possible transfers you find the most anticipated. Thank you for watching and see you soon.